Towering above the landscape is a feature of magnificence and sheer splendor, which possess the ability to totally obliterate all within its scope of destruction, create new land, and bring forth life. To some, it is a god whose voice is like a tremendous roar that shakes the very foundation of the earth and demanding the most worthy of sacrifices. To others, it is the dwelling of the gods, where some of the most powerful weapons are crafted. Yet, this natural wonder has impressed upon the eyes of many as much as it drives fear in the hearts of even the most ferocious beasts. For they know that within the blink of an eye, it can wipe out all in existence with every weapon in its arsenal. However, this marvel is essential for the existence of life on our planet, which is only achieved through purging before it renews. This is the volcano. The volcano is a natural opening in the Earth's surface, through which an assortment of solid, molten, and gaseous materials are ejected. Its structure is defined by a magma chamber at its base from which the magma is supplied to the volcano, a main vent through which the magma is traveled, a secondary vent, a layer of ash and lava, and a crater through which lava and other materials are ejected. A volcano has a life cycle. The life cycle of a volcano is divided into 3 phases. They are active, dormant, and extinct. In the active phase of a volcano's life cycle, the volcano erupts frequently at regular intervals for many years, such as the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii. The dormant phase of the volcano's life cycle is marked by far less frequent eruptions, since it may not erupt for many years before erupting again. Despite this, the volcanoes continue to show signs of potential devastating eruptions. For example, La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent. After many years, usually millions of years, volcanic activity ceases. Over time, the cone is overtaken by vegetation. At this point, the volcano is classified as extinct. A very good example of such a volcano in the Caribbean is the Black Hill volcano in Portland, Jamaica, which last erupted over 12 million years ago. Most of the world's volcanoes are formed along plate margins. This is a zone of the Earth's crust where plates move in relation to each other. Volcanoes are formed along convergent or destructive plate margins, where plates move towards each other and eventually collide. However, other volcanoes are formed at divergent plate margins, where plates move apart. Divergent plate margins are also referred to as constructive plate margins. However, there are volcanoes that are formed far away from any plate margin, and this is because they are located over sections of the mantle that are more hotter than other areas and are described as hotspot volcanoes. Along a convergent plate margin where 2 plates, the oceanic plate and the continental plate, move towards each other, eventually collide, the oceanic plate, which is much heavier, moves down into the mantle or where is known as the subduction zone. This is where the plate is destroyed by being reabsorbed or melted in the mantle. This movement also forces magma upwards through the continental crust, creating a volcano. Here we can see a demonstration of the formation of the Soufriere Hills volcano in Montserrat, where you can see the North American plate pushing beneath the Caribbean plate, forcing magma upwards to create the volcano known as the Soufriere Hills volcano on the island of Montserrat, thus by extension creating the island of Montserrat as well. Here is another demonstration of volcano formation along a convergent or destructive plate margin. Some examples of this type of volcano includes Mont Pelée in Martinique, Soufriere Hills in Montserrat, and La Soufriere in St. Vincent. Where plates along a divergent plate boundary move away from each other, allows for magma under great pressure to move through the gap that is created. This eventually forces magma through the Earth's crust, creating a volcano. Despite having the Cayman Island Ridge in the Caribbean, there is no volcano along this divergent plate boundary. However, another great example of this divergent plate boundary is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which runs right through the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, only crossing one landmass, which is Iceland, where you can find good examples of other volcanoes created by this divergent plate margin, such as Hecla, or should I say Mount Hecla. Other volcanoes stand out as an anomaly, as they do not fit the proper description of a typical volcano. These are located far away from plate margins. These are referred to as hotspot volcanoes because they are located over much hotter areas of the mantle that burns right through the rock, creating a chain of volcanoes. However, as the plate continues to move away from the hotspot, volcanic activity eventually over time ceases, and these volcanoes become dormant and eventually extinct as they move much further away from the hotspots. Here is another demonstration of how volcanoes are formed along a hotspot. Here, magma burns right through the crust, creating a volcano. As the plate moves over the hotspot, another volcano is created in the process. Now we have a conveyor belt of volcanoes being formed one after the other. However, the farther away the volcano moves from the hotspot, the less activity or volcanic activity is taking place. The volcano eventually becomes dormant and then extinct. An example is the Piton de la Fournaise on the French-speaking island of Reunion in the Indian Ocean. Other examples are the Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea volcanoes in Hawaii. Volcanoes emit two types of lava: acidic or viscous lava and basic or basaltic lava. Basic or basaltic lava has very little silica content, thus making it thin and flowing easily, almost like a river. Therefore, it looks like a river of lava. Because it's so thin, it does not clog up the vents during an eruption. Therefore, eruptions are usually gentle. The acidic or viscous lava contains a high silica content and therefore is very thick and moves very slowly. Because of this, it often clogs the vents of volcanoes and creates a very violent eruption. Despite some commonalities, most volcanoes are not the same. Some are made from different types of materials, which give rise to a variety of volcanoes. One such type of volcano is the dome volcano, which is actually an accumulation of acidic or viscous lava that is actually ejected layer by layer, forming a dome-shaped structure. Sometimes dome volcanoes are formed as a result of an upwelling of acidic lava in the crater of the volcano, forming a dome-shaped structure. This is the case with the Montserrat Soufriere Hills volcano and St. Vincent's La Soufriere volcano. Some examples of a dome volcano are Mount Ayodake in Japan and Volcan Chaiten in Chile. Some volcanoes are made up of alternating layers of ash and lava. This is what we call a composite volcano. A composite volcano is formed after successive eruptions over many years. Some eruptions may cause the volcano to eject lava onto its sides. Other eruptions may cause the volcano to eject ash along its sides, building a steady alternating layer of ash and lava over many years of constant eruptions. For example, Mont Pelée in Martinique. La Soufrière in St. Vincent, and Mount Fujiyama in Japan. Some volcanoes are only made up of ash. This is when, during a violent eruption, ash is ejected high up in the air and eventually falls back to the surface, building the cone, and this takes place after many years of constant eruption. These are referred to as ash or cinder cone volcanoes. For example, Mount Suribashi in Japan, Paricutin in Mexico, and Babuyan in the Philippines. During gentle eruptions, basic lava is spread over a wide area. After constant or successive eruptions, this basic lava continues to spread over a wide area, creating layers upon layers of basic lava. This forms a broad volcanic mountain that is shaped like a disc, known as a shield volcano. Good examples of a shield volcano are the Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea volcanoes in Hawaii and Piton de la Fournaise in Réunion, as well as Mauna Ulu in Hawaii. Another type of volcano, known as a caldera, can be created where a powerful eruption may deem the cone so weak that it collapsed right into the crater itself, thus leaving or creating a vast crater known as a caldera. Often, the magma from within the base of the volcano is pushed upwards among the debris, creating secondary volcanic cones. Sometimes rainfall is collected in the caldera, creating what is known as a crater lake. One good example of a crater lake in the Caribbean is the Grand Etang in Grenada, as well as La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent. Now, let us take some time out to recognize some honorable mentionables. Krakatoa in Indonesia. Next, Mount St. Helens in the United States. Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Popocatépetl in Mexico. Nyiragongo in Democratic Republic of Congo. Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. Mount Vesuvius in Italy. Mount Tambora in Indonesia. And Mount Hekla in Iceland. and Nevado del Ruiz in Colombia. And now we have come to the end of today's lecture series. Thank you very much for tuning in, and continue to love geography always with all thy might. Take care, everyone.